emergencies happen, we want you to be the first to know.
But if we can't reach you, we can't alert you.
That's why we need you to register for our new emergency alert system, SCP Alerts.
Signing up is easy.
So text SCP Alerts to 888-777 to get our messages.
From weather-related updates and emergencies,
to evacuations and more.
Sign up for SCP Alerts.
Because our first priority is keeping you safe.
In a natural disaster, severe weather, or local emergency, we want you to know what to do.
Through SCP Alerts, we can help you be prepared and stay safe.
Text SCP Alerts to 888-777.
That's the stuff I was looking for.
Good evening, and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, November 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor Troy D. Smith, Sr. with the True Vine Baptist Church in Hanville.
Dear God, we come with our hearts humbled and bowed in your presence. We want to tell you, first of all, dear God, thank you. Thank you for bringing us all the way to this present moment. Dear God, we're asking right now that you would incline your ear to hear our prayer as we make decisions on behalf of our communities and our parish. Dear God, we would that you would not let us go in it with our own mind. But, dear God, we're asking that you would give us wisdom coming from you to make decisions on behalf of our parish. Dear God, we thank you for this privilege of prayer. We thank you for your presence in our prayer. And, dear God, we thank you for the power of prayer. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, thank you, Pastor Smith. All righty. Seems like Mr. Dufresne and Ms. Belloc will be absent this evening. Roll right along. Special business, proclamation, canvass returns, etc. 2022-0332, a proclamation. Norco Christmas Parade Day. Proclamation. Whereas the community of Norco is rich in history and tradition, and the Norco Christmas Parade, an annual holiday event, is part of this tradition. And whereas on Sunday, December 4th, 2022, at 1 p.m., the Norco Civic Association will parade with this year's theme being Norco Noel. Norco honors our first responders. And whereas this parade is designed to usher in the beginning of the Christmas season and further the sense of community in Norco, and whereas the residents of the entire parish are invited to come to Norco and join in the festivities, and whereas this event is organized by the Norco Christmas Parade Committee of the Norco Civic Association, who have volunteered their time to make this event possible, and whereas the residents of St. Charles Parish are truly grateful for their dedication and hard work. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council, and the parish president, do hereby proclaim Sunday, December 4th, 2022, as Norco Christmas Parade Day. Be it further resolved, on behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, we do hereby extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to the Norco Civic Association, the Norco Christmas Parade Committee, and all those who are making this community building event possible. I believe Mr. Stephen Weber is here to accept. You have some members of the committee also?
Thank you, Mr. Fisher, and I want to thank the council for this proclamation, and especially Mr. Fisher. I do have a few people I want to thank, and then I'll be very brief about the parade. I want to begin by thanking Sheriff Champagne and the Sheriff's Office, who helps to keep that parade safe every year since we brought it back in 2001, including Officers Laverne and Richie Oob, who's in charge of the parade this year on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. I want to thank the council, Parish President Jewell, and our parish government, and especially the Public Works Department, who do so much for the parade. But not only the parade, I left Dominic Brown and Irvin Fauché today, members of the Public Works, who've been heading up the effort. That includes assisting with installing our lights, our holiday lights, and our community Christmas tree on the streets of Narco. Special thanks to our major sponsors, Shell, Narco, and Valero. Bob, I know you're pretty familiar with Valero, aren't you? And Tim Mayu and his helicopter, who travels to the North Pole every year, picks up Santa and Mrs. Claus and delivers them to our parade, and actually allows Santa's reindeers to rest up for their flight on Christmas Eve. Last but not least, and we have some members here, I'd like to thank our Narco Christmas Parade steering committee. We have Becky Weber, I'm familiar with her, Ms. Dee Parquette, and Lori Lyons, just a number of our members. We have probably about 10 that really do, a small group that do all the work for the parade, and I want to thank you all for all you do. With that said, we're calling it, in fact, this is from Marty Luquette, it's his line. He calls it the greatest show on asphalt. So it's ready to roll on Sunday, December 4th. Santa's going to be Santa and Mrs. Claus, although I hear Mrs. Claus might be driving down. She's afraid to ride in the helicopter. They'll be arriving at 12:40 on the levee at Apple Street and River Road, and the parade rolls at 1 o'clock. As you mentioned, it is the theme this year is Narco Honors Our First Responders. The parade this year has a number of first responders, including fire trucks, but also some special guests. We have the 610 Stompers again this year. We have a variety of groups. We have most of the schools in St. Charles Parish represented in some way in this parade. We have floats, the Shriners Dune Buggies, a horse group, some queens, and we have overall probably about 70-plus units in the parade this year, and I think it's going to be a great parade. So with that, we're keeping our fingers crossed that December 4th brings us good weather. And I want to thank you guys for honoring us. It's been dormant for the last 2 years because of Hurricane Ida and COVID, and we're excited about bringing it back, and we hope everybody else, we say it ushers in the Christmas season for the River Parish, and it really does. We really get large turnouts there. Anyway, thank you for this proclamation, and keep your fingers crossed for good weather. Thank you.
All righty, 2022-0333, a proclamation, the Christmas celebration. Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Proclamation, whereas we are now entering the Christmas season, a time in which generations of Christians have celebrated the birth of Jesus Christ in the holy city of Bethlehem. And whereas through this season we pride ourselves in the renewed spirit of peace, love, and hope in communities throughout the world. And whereas we celebrate with symbols such as the Christmas tree and honor St. Nicholas, the patron saint of children, known as Santa Claus. And whereas there is no better way to begin our Christmas season than with a Christmas tree lighting and community caroling celebration. And whereas the St. Charles Parish Rotary Club is planning a Christmas tree lighting and Christmas caroling celebration with a visit from Santa. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby declare Thursday, December 8th, 2022, to be an evening of Christmas celebration in St. Charles Parish. Be it further resolved, the public is invited to attend the celebration of the Christmas season on Thursday, December 8th, 2022, 5:30 p.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center, 274 Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway, Luling. We have our Rotary President, Brian Roulette, and a group of Rotary members here to accept this proclamation.
Thank you to the council for helping us with this event, and most importantly, I'd like to thank all of our Rotarians that are helping. We have Mr. Justin Goins, Mr. David Wolf, Yvette Wolford, Louis Offamon, who's just tagging along, and we have Ms. Kim Babineau, who is organizing this event for us, so we greatly appreciate all your help. Thank you.
All righty, 2022-0334, a proclamation. Fresh Faith Worship Center Pop-Up Shop Day. Proclamation, whereas the Fresh Faith Worship Center Pop-Up Shop Festival has been rescheduled for Saturday, December 3rd, 2022, and whereas everyone is invited to come and enjoy a day of delicious food and entertainment and opportunity to shop several booths for a wide variety of items. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim Saturday, December 3rd, 2022 as Fresh Faith Worship Center Pop-Up Shop in St. Charles Parish, and encourage all citizens to attend the festival at the Fresh Faith Worship Center, 1164 East Harding Street in New Sarpy, from noon to 6 p.m. And Ms. Martin's not here tonight, but we'll go ahead and get that to her. Okay, reports, finance, administrative activities, 2022-0319, Workforce Innovations and Opportunity Act. Mr. Scott.
Thank you and good afternoon, Chairman Fisher, council members, and Parish President Jewell. The Louisiana Workforce Commission, we were once known as the JPTA, Job Partnership and Training Act. Some of you may remember that. Then ultimately WIA, the Workforce Investment Act. Currently WIOA, the Workforce Innovations and Opportunities Act. Despite the many monikers that we've had over the years, one thing has remained consistent, and that's our establishment as the premier resource to assist our individuals that are interested in transitioning into the workforce or navigating through our local workforce climate. The Louisiana Workforce Commission is a dual-fold entity, if you will. We assist job seekers as well as employers that are looking to fulfill their respective workforces. Our goal is to serve as the liaison amongst the two. Our mantra is simply, we put people to work. We actually have a plethora of programs in which we assist individuals, things like job prep, resume preparation, soft skills training, and then we also help the employers on the other side to fulfill their workforce. We have a lot of lucrative partnerships that we are able to leverage in order to get the best benefit out of our services. Just a few of them, of course, is our local River Parishes Workforce Development Board, the local community colleges, our local RPCC campus, as well as Fletcher's and other state-approved training providers such as Delgado. And also we have a plethora of nonprofit partners. Some are Catholic Charities and United Way, and of course parish government and our local economic development offices as well. Our board is comprised of several individuals from public and private sectors. Tricia Thompson is our chair. She's with Human Resources with Dinka PE, and Ms. Katie Kleiber, who's with RTC in Reserve as well. A few notable members that you may notice, we have Mr. Corey Fauché, who's our St. Charles Parish Economic Development Director, also Mrs. Penelope Shoemaker, who's the Dean of our local RPCC school, and even our very own Garrett Monty, amongst the many individuals. The purpose of that board is so that we can have a clear mix of individuals from every aspect of what goes into workforce development. So we have business owners, we have people that come from other nonprofit organizations, and those individuals that can truly give us an in-depth look into what is needed in each and every community throughout the river region. So this is our actual board. As far as business services, we do assist employers with things such as job fairs, job postings. We provide labor market information and even on-the-job training and customized training, which is one of our more popular programs. It's a program in which we will actually pay up to 50% of a new employee's salary throughout the initial duration of their hiring. And the benefit of that is that one of our residents gets paid work experience, and then that employer gets an individual that they've been able to train within the culture of their company and somebody that can really move on and become a true asset. Individual services, training assistance is one of our main services that appeal to our residents. We will actually pay for training for individuals that are able to go to school to acquire a secondary credential that can make them more appeasing and more employable by employers and members of business and industry. On-the-job training, which is what I alluded to earlier. And we also have self-service computer facilities and access to funded training in high-skill, high-demand positions as well. As everyone, I'm sure everyone has had a tough time recovering from Hurricane Ida, and the Workforce Development Office was unable to walk away unscathed as well. If you'll notice in the lower left hand, that shows our St. Charles location, in which we had significant roof damage, in which we had to replace all the tiles, a lot of flooring, ultimately repaint the walls, and just replace and renovate the entire office. To the right, you'll see what was our St. John location. The roof completely flew off from the top of the building with a sufficient amount of moisture that got into the building and actually flooded our suite, which is on the bottom floor. We're actually in the lower right-hand corner there. So we had to replace 2 offices in this past year. We actually spent the better part of 12 months located at the Edward Dufresne Center. We actually had a makeshift operation there until we were able to renovate and ultimately move into our new offices, which we moved in about a month ago, roughly. You'll see our St. Charles office is modernized and upgraded. If you had the pleasure of visiting our offices prior to Hurricane Ida, we had some vintage carpeting and very dated paint on the walls as well. So this is clearly an upgrade from what we did have. It definitely a more professional, chic look, and I think a great facility for our residents to take advantage of. And this is the St. John office, which is equipped to the left. You'll see that is our conference room, and then on the right, you'll see one of our offices, again, upgraded flooring, modernized furniture, so on and so forth. All right. We also took the advantage to rebrand ourselves. Louisiana is comprised of 64 parishes. Those 64 parishes are condensed into 15 workforce development areas. Technically, we are area number 14. That is random numbering. That clearly has no reflection on our efficiency and effectiveness in the community. But what we wanted to do, and what was also encouraged by the state, is for us to rebrand ourselves so that we can be noticed and recognizable to our residents and individuals. So when they see this logo, Let's Work River Parishes, with our respective parishes and website under it, they know that this is the premier place for them to visit if they reside in any of the 3 parishes in our region. And this is where they can come for any job assistance, as well as our business owners and members of business and industry, if they should need any assistance in acquiring a sufficient workforce. They know that this is the symbol, this is our logo, this is what you should look for that separates the Tri-Parish from everyone else throughout the state. Just a few successes that we had. We were able to expend all of our funds for 2020 and 2021, despite COVID and Ida closures. So I know that seems simple. How hard can it be to spend money, right? But it's tough when you get it from the federal government, just based on the federal mandates and requirements. It's a few eligibility requirements that individuals must meet before we can actually expend funding on them. So we sift through literally hundreds of applications before we can find those residents that are actually eligible, and we can spend that funding. So despite 2020 with COVID and despite Ida, the state actually gives us no reprieve when it comes to expending funds. And that is the cardinal sin of workforce development. You never want to give any money back, because in the event that you do, it is reallocated by the state and redistributed to other parishes that have exhibited the ability to expend those funds with little or no resistance. So the last thing that we would want to do is give any funding to any other parish, right? So that was really something great that we did, and a true testament to just the hard work and dedication of everyone on my team. So that was actually something great that we were able to do. We also were able to acquire an IDA grant to the tune of $800,000, which will allow us to temporarily employ individuals as we can prepare for, we're almost at the end of this hurricane season, but any upcoming hurricane season, if there's any improvements that need to be made throughout any of our parishes, cleaning out ditches, dredging, that sort of stuff, we do have funding available where we can actually employ individuals to prepare our area. We have partnerships with the RPCC Boutique Campus as well as Reserve Campus. CDL training is one of our premier training regimens A lot of people come to us for that. They can acquire a CDL license in as little as 4 weeks and ultimately obtain a lucrative career opportunity. The end from October of last year to June roughly of this year, which is the bulk of our fiscal period, we have seen over 600 applications, completed income verification on about 200 of those, and over 100 of those individuals have actually been able to take advantage of one of our services, whether it be training reimbursement, on the job training, paid work experience, something of the sort. So we definitely have been impactful within the community. This is just a snapshot of the numbers. Just in September, we had 26 individuals enrolled in school for CDL, 1 for registered nurse, 1 for medical assistant, 3 for patient tech, 6 for phlebotomy and EKG, 3 for medical coding, 2 for rigger, crane operator, and 15 participated in youth programs. So this is just a snapshot of 1 month, but we were able to assist 57 of our residents by actually paying for them to go to school to acquire a secondary credential or allow them to participate in a paid work experience program, which again, the end result of that is ultimately to place them in a permanent position with an employer throughout our region. Thank you so much. That concludes my report, but I'll be more than happy to answer any questions anyone may have at this time.
Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the training, you have to qualify that like low income?
Yes, ma'am. It is low income training. What we actually follow is the income poverty guidelines. So that is set by.
So if somebody's out of a job?
They're pretty much eligible.
So it's not necessarily past income, it's current income?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is current income with the caps based on the household size.
Do you send people to learn how to drive a school bus? I mean, do you cover any of that or just CDLs?
Well, the CDL school can cover that if they do need one of the, maybe like a Class A license or something to that effect. That is covered in that particular course. So anything specific to school buses, not at this moment, but that can be learned in some sort of fashion at the CDL training.
Thank you for your dedication.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Ms. Comiak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Love your rebrand.
Thank you.
The images are good. The slogan's good. That's really, I think that's a good impact and recognizable. Really good.
Thank you so much.
And as Ms. Cooley said, we appreciate what you do.
I
Do a good
appreciate
job.
you. Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Belloc. How are you? Good. Done. Mr. Scott, real quick.
Yes,
How
sir.
many staff members do you have in your St. Charles office?
In the St. Charles office, we have it's actually 6 individuals, 2 in St. John and 1 in St. James. We also have some state merit staff that assist us as well, but our local staff is roughly 9 individuals throughout the tri-parish area.
It's a lot of work for 9 people.
It is a lot, and we get it done, you know, with the support of you all, President Jewell and his administration, and again, my team. I don't really like to say my coworkers or my staff or my department because nothing would be possible without them. The individual effort is a reflection of the collective success.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
You too. 2022-03-220, Parish President's Remarks and Report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. Try to keep it brief tonight. Start off in Public Works, Kirk Drive and Lynn Drive over in Parity. Continued efforts over there to replace rotten culverts, as well as going under the roads to replace rotten connecting culverts between driveways as well. Over to the 40 Arpin Canal, our drainage crew recently finished up this project, and I went out there myself to inspect. It looks really good. They did a lot of chipping to get trees away from the canal that would potentially fall in the canal during a storm or something. So everything you see there, I was looking one way when I took one picture, and I was looking the other way when I took the other picture. That's why those kind of banks butt up, but that's the same bank where we did all of our chipping. Everything on the other side of the canal is private property. There's also a pipeline right-of-way right there, but they've done everything they can with the permit. We've widened it in a couple of places. dredged out really good. So the 40 Upland Canal is looking really good. Over to Veterans Luncheon. We had a great luncheon last week. It was great to host that along with Sheriff Champagne. And this was Thursday, November 10th. We had 2 World War II veterans who were present at the event. Senator Cassidy, Command Sergeant Major Achman, and Representative Greg Miller spoke at the event. And this was probably one of our best attended events that we've had in a while as far as the veterans event goes. I look forward to hosting this event next year and want to again thank all of our veterans for their service to our country. Community service turkey baskets with donations and volunteers from more than 20 local businesses and our industrial partners. The Department of Community Services made 350 Thanksgiving baskets for local families in need. So we were excited to be able to provide that to our community members, and want to thank Joan Diaz and her team for making that happen. And thank you again to our sponsors. Our senior Christmas social is coming up on December 1st at 11 a.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. That's a Thursday. All St. Charles Parish seniors and adults 55 and older are invited to attend the holiday celebration in the gymnasium. And in addition to the luncheon, we will have a musical performance by the Luling Elementary Choir, and there will be pictures with Santa. He doesn't just attend the Norco Christmas Parade, he also attends this event. So we look forward to that. We're welcoming all of our seniors, and we are expecting a big crowd. The Toy and Gift event is going to be happening as well on December 10th from 9 to 1 a.m. 9 to 1 p.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. That's Saturday, December 10th. And it's going to be open to all St. Charles Parish children, ages infant to age 16. We're thankful for Toys. I'm sorry, is it? Yeah, I think it's Toys for Tots for partnering with us this year. Again, that has allowed us to open it up to all children in St. Charles Parish, like we did last year. Children must be accompanied by a parent or guardian, and they need to show proof of residency when they come to the door. Okay, sales tax numbers for the month of September were actually up 20.3%. No one's sure exactly why, but we're not complaining. And so whatever industry folks are out there and our residents who are taking care of business, we're blaming it on the Take Care of Business campaign that we did in November of 2020. We think this is some residuals from that. But for the year, the sales tax is up 8.08%. And again, that is great for everybody in the parish. That allows us to do more, and especially with the way inflation is right now, being able to have extra revenue to be able to do those impactful projects for the parish residents is important. We've established a safety committee, and today we had our inaugural meeting to review general safety policies and develop more in-depth policies for our different departments. This is something that I've been pushing for a while now. We've actually done a lot better job in the last couple of years of providing necessary PPE for our employees. Employees who are field employees now receive a small stipend to purchase steel-toe boots, and they're required to wear those at all times. To give you an example, we were spending about $30,000 to $50,000 a year on foot injuries through workman's comp. Providing the stipend to our field employees is less than that amount. So these things make sense. But first and foremost, it's important for our employees to come to work and go home the same way they got to work. So I'm excited for the safety committee. To give you a little bit more information about it, it's made up of representatives from all of our departments, both civil service and appointed. And when we talk about safety, we're going to be talking about, we obviously think a lot about the field employees and the work that they do. But it goes well beyond that. It goes to our office employees, talking about ergonomics and talking about things that are important to make sure that we have a safe work environment, both inside and outside. Again, our biggest asset are our employees, and making sure that they are able to work in a safe environment and go home to their loved ones in one piece is the biggest priority for us. So I look forward to reporting out to you what the safety committee will develop. We're going to be meeting on a month-to-month basis to begin with, and as we get more of our safety policies in place, that will lighten up, and every now and then we will switch up the members who are involved in the safety committee, but we're excited about that. All right, some good news on jobs. We have successfully filled all equipment operator 1 and 2 positions, which is a big win for the parish and our personnel department. With that being said, we still do have open positions, and those are animal control, carpenter, council administrative aide 2, electrician helper, equipment operator 3, equipment operator 4, laborer, pump operator helper, pump technician helper, recreation maintenance grass cutter, shop mechanic helper, wastewater laborer, wastewater tech 1, and welder. So we got a couple off the board. We're excited about that. Kayla in personnel is working really, really hard on getting people in. We're working really hard to, when they apply, if they are qualified, to move their applications as fast as possible, getting their background checks done, the drug screenings done, and getting them in as fast as possible. But I'm confident that we are going to be able to, that I'll be able to come to you guys and report less and less job openings, and hopefully that will be soon. And for anybody listening who wants to apply to work at St. Charles Parish, we want you to visit stcharlesparish.gov/employment, or you can call 985-783-5000 for more information. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Jewell. Any discussion? All right, moving right along. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, December 5th, 2022, 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse in Hanville. 2022-0321, 2022-0322, 2022-0323, 2022-0326, 2022-0327, 2022-0335, 2022-0336, 2022-0337, 2022-0338. Planning and zoning petitions, 2022-0303, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 as amended to change the zoning classification from OL to C3 on approximately 82,000 square foot of a property designated as Lot 13-1M, the portion of Lot 13, Coteau du France, as shown on the survey by David L. Patterson, PLS, dated June 16, 2022, as requested by Racetrack for Lloyd Dufresne. Ms. Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This applicant is requesting a rezone. It'll eliminate a split zone on a parcel. He's requesting a change from open land, OL, to C3. The highway portion of this property that fronts Highway 90 is already C3. The request meets all of the criteria that we usually use to evaluate a rezoning request. The department recommended approval, the Planning Commission recommended approval, and the resulting development site would be about 4.3 acres.
All right, thank you. File number 2022-0303 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name, your address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak.
Hi, yes, good evening. My name is John Thompson. I am an engineer with Duplantis Design Group out of Baton Rouge. My address is 9015 Bluebonnet Boulevard, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I am the project applicant on behalf of Racetrack. I am the local engineer doing the site development that had applied for the rezoning. In simple terms, that's all we're asking for. The front of the site is already zoned C3 commercial, and the back is OL, open land. We are simply asking to rezone the property be entirely commercial in order to bring this into commerce. I'm here if anyone has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0303. And that motion passes unanimously with Councilwoman Belloc joining us. Okay, next on our agenda, 2022-0305, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 as amended to change the zoning classification from C2 to R1AM on approximately 4,500 square foot of a lot designated as a portion of parcel A and approximately 700 square foot of a lot designated a portion of parcel C as shown on the survey of a portion of parcels A and C, Carolyn Drive subdivision by Lucian C. Gasson, PLS, dated May 16, 1974, as requested by Kenneth Martin, Jr. Ms. Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This applicant also requests the elimination of a spot zone, specifically to rezone a portion of a parcel, well, a portion of land that they own on two separate parcels from C2, that's general commercial, to R1AM. The applicant intends to divide the property into two lots that would conform to the R1AM standards. They would be 54 feet wide by 100 feet deep. The request meets all of the criteria that we have for evaluating a rezoning request. The department recommended approval, the Planning Commission recommended approval, and the resulting development site would be about 10,400 square feet.
File number 2022-0305 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, I'm DeAndre Martin, 84 Armand Meadows, Estrahan, Louisiana, 70047. We're just simply requesting that you change the zoning, approve the zoning in order for us to subdivide the particular lot to build 2 residential homes. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Martin, thank you. Is anyone else who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
I'm trying to get a clearance. They're trying to make this R1A, but R1AM, and does that open it up for mobile homes or no? Or it is open now for mobile homes?
Right. The entire street, Carolyn Drive, is zoned R1AM, which would permit mobile homes.
But they're trying to put 2 stick-built homes, correct? Or
That, my understanding from the applicants is that's their intent.
but they wouldn't be required to do that.
No. Well, no. I mean, the R1AM zoning permits mobile homes. It also permits site-built structures on a lot that's at minimum 50 feet wide by 100 feet deep.
I'm just wondering why they went to R1AM when they could have gone just to R1A, if that's what they wanted was.
More than half of the property is right now R1AM. They're requesting to eliminate the split zoning. So a zoning district line slices through the property at an angle, and that other portion of the property is C2, general commercial.
So this is only to remove the C2?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Ms. Martin, could you come back up, please? This is in my district. And
Okay.
I got a lot of phone calls about it, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'd kind of like to know what your attention, because of the fact that when we open this back up again, you would have the opportunity to put 2 mobile homes there. So, and there was a lot of people at the Planning Commission. A lot of people have sent some emails to Ms. Stein and her department. So if y'all could just clarify what your intention is with this property, I think a lot of people would feel a lot better.
You got it?
As the record state, we would like to build 2 homes.
So Ken, y'all want to build 2 single-family homes?
As the
on it?
record states, we would like to build 2 homes.
Okay. Ms. Stein, so he, under the R1AM, he can put 2 houses on it, correct, right now? 2 single-family homes.
Well, because the property is split zoned right now, no.
No, he cannot.
Right. Right now, we would be able to permit at most 1 single-family house.
Okay.
The property is extremely irregular in the way it's divided right now, with a strip of land across its front is 1 lot, and a larger portion in the back. If you can check the survey in your agenda. The intent is to turn those 2 extremely irregular lots into 2 lots that conform to the zoning districts. They'll be 54 feet across the front and 100 feet deep.
So, and I guess I'm going to expand on Ms. Cluley's question was, why not go to an R1A zoning on both that property?
That would be a spot zone.
That would be a spot zone, because
would be
it's
a
an
spot
RA1.
zone. Right. The entire street is currently zoned R1AM.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marnie, I received an email from a neighboring resident who asked the question, and I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear it from you for their benefit, whether we could stipulate that it had to be single-family homes built on there.
Generally, a zoning district is what it is. Your bundle of rights that you obtain when you change a zoning to R1AM permits everything that the zoning ordinance lists. But the applicants have a track record that they might want to come up and discuss.
Feel free. If you'd like to tell us about that, please do so.
We have every intentions to do 2 single-family homes. We actually did this same thing on Riverview. Beautiful, beautiful home, great craftsmanship, added very value to the neighborhood. I think Ms. Bella can speak to that. So we have every intention to do 2 residential homes, single-family homes. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Not for you, but thank you.
Okay.
Marnie, I'm just wondering how this property ended up split zone like this, and do we have others like this in the parish? It's just...
Yes, it's not uncommon for the commercial zoning along Highway 90, Airline Drive, both river roads to go beyond what the parcelization is.
That because they do it at the 30,000-foot view? Wow.
Yeah, it's a relic of the 1981 effort to zone the parish.
Mm-hmm. And so that creates an issue, and this is one example, right, for the property owners.
Right. Yeah, this would be granting approval of the change would eliminate a spot zone, which is, a split zone, which is a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. or Mrs. Martin, whichever Martin want to come up. As you did state about the homes listed on Maryland's street, so there are beautiful homes. Can you state what the value of those homes are going to range from?
Right now, we're looking at between $290,000 and $300,000.
Okay.
For each home.
Yes, and there are going to be homes instead of mobile homes.
Identical to
identical to the ones on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Anything else?
Hold on, we got one more council member. Ms. Cormier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question's not for you. So, Marnie, thanks for all the clarification tonight. And just another level of comfort for us. There really would only be two ways to bring this property into conforming status. Either make it C2 or R1AM, correct? One of the two would not be a spot zone, and those would be the only two.
Right, that's
So
correct.
I would think that the residents surrounding would be happier if it were on the residential side versus the commercial side. Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Belloc.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to comment to that fact, because I don't know if you guys remember when they were trying to put on my street and the neighbors came out and they just absolutely didn't want it. Pass by Riverview and look at these homes. They're three gorgeous homes. They upgraded the front of Riverview. It looks awesome. Just figured I'd throw that out for a caveat for you. Thank you.
All righty, any further council discussion? Okay, seeing none. Please cast your votes for file number 2022. I'm sorry, 2022-0305. And that motion passes unanimously. I'm looking forward to seeing those houses. Thank y'all for what you do. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearings introduced at the previous meeting. 2022-0302, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 2 for the asphalt pavement maintenance, Parish project number P210302, to decrease the contract amount by $396,163.17. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is, as he said, the ordinance covers change order number 2, final, on the contract with Barrier Construction Company for the asphalt pavement maintenance program. This project included 2 task orders. Task order 1, which included 15 streets, and task order number 2, which included 18 streets, for a total of 33 streets in the program. After completion of all work authorized under task order number 1 and task order number 2, the engineering department determined that the actual quantities required to complete the work were less than the estimated quantities included in these task orders. The result is a savings of $396,163.17, which is reflected in change order number 2 as a deduct. The final contract amount of the project is $2,704,086.14, and we would appreciate your support of this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beam. File number 2022-0302 is now open for public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0302. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0304, an ordinance to revoke and abandon unimproved Wood Court Square H, Luling Heights subdivision, Section B, is shown on the map by Adlo Orr Jr., C.E., dated September 13, 1956, and revised June 1st, 1957. Ms. Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These applicants are requesting revocation of a street that was never built. It's Wood Court. They submitted all the necessary documentation. They submitted a plat re-subdividing Wood Court. We have documentation from the Department of Public Works and also from the Department of Water Works that there is no continuing public need for this right-of-way. And the Department of Legal Services has reviewed the act of revocation that the applicant submitted. So the department and the Planning Commission both recommended approval.
Thank you, Ms. Stein. file number 2022-0304 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Louis Althamaw, appearing on behalf of the applicants Dee and Karen, Frederick and their son Michael, and daughter-in-law Samantha. My address is 13919 River Road, Suite 300. As Marnie mentioned, this is really just a cleanup. That the maps back in 1956 and 57 showed Wood Court being developed through this property. It's never been developed. It's owned by the Fredericks in terms of the surrounding property, so when it gets revoked, it's going to revert back to the family that owns the adjoining property. There is no public benefit to this whatsoever. It's basically just vacant ground and trees in essentially the backyard of the Fredericks homes. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Ms. Altham.
Okay.
Does anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is in my district. This is was a subdivision drawn on paper, which was never developed. It was a single owner, and he divided off a portion of it for his son and daughter-in-law, and I appreciate your support tonight to approve this.
Any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0304. It passed unanimously. Okay, that passed unanimously. Okay, 2022-0306. Ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of an act of donation by and between Chevron USA, Chevron, and St. Charles Parish for a certain parcel of land comprising of approximately 0.9 acres adjacent to the property already donated for the boat launch and park along Bayou des Allemands. Mr. Oob.
Thank you, Chairman. As the council is aware, previously Tract 1 was donated by Chevron to St. Charles Parish and accepted by the council. This is the last piece, Tract 4, as fully reflected on page 100 of your books. It's a small piece that at the time was still under a lease agreement. That lease is terminated. The tenant is no longer there. So Chevron is just finalizing that last little section of Tract 4 to make the property one large piece.
Thank you, Mr. Oob. File number 2022-0306 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0306. And that motion passes unanimously. Resolutions 2022-0324, a resolution endorsing a waiver from Appendix C, Subdivision Regulations of 1981, Section 3, Geometrical Standards, B Blocks 3 arrangements as requested by Alvin J. Dufresne and Jason M. Adams. Ms. Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a minor re-subdivision request. It would divide one lot of ground into 4 lots of ground. The applicants are requesting a waiver from the lot arrangement as these lots do not front on a dedicated public street. They are developed, however, at this time with as many as 4 dwelling units. The department recommended approval, and we did that because dividing the property into more lots than it has right now would be more conforming to the intent of the zoning ordinance and the subdivision regulations. So overall, the conformity is going to improve. The Planning Commission approved the request subject to a waiver. So if you approve the request tonight, it will execute the survey on page 112 of your agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Stein. File number 2022-0324 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak.
Louis Altamont again, 13919 River Road in Luling, appearing on behalf of the applicant Elvin Dufresne and Jason Adams. Nothing really is changing here. This is really cleaning up the property. It was owned by two brothers, Shelby and Elvin Dufresne, and over the course of time, Elvin donated 10 feet to Shelby, and then another course of time, 15 feet to Shelby, and they never really officially re-subdivided. So this is an opportunity to clean it up and make it platted the way it physically exists on the ground itself. And as Marnie indicated, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously approved it. So we'd appreciate your support and here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. If there's anyone else who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Okay, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0324. And that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
2022-0325, a resolution in support of the Planning and Zoning Commission's approval of 2022-17 SPU for an accessory dwelling unit in an R1A zoning district, Lot 354, Fashion Plantations Estates, Phase 3, 808 South Fashion Boulevard, Hanville, as requested by Shane McNully. Ms. Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a special permit request for an accessory dwelling unit. The request meets the majority of the criteria by which we evaluate a special permit. However, the living space for this particular accessory dwelling unit exceeds the maximum, which is 1,200 square feet, by about 50%. It's 690 square feet over the maximum size. The department recommended denial of the application. The Planning Commission, however, approved the request with a waiver from the maximum square foot for the accessory dwelling unit, and that supporting resolution requires Parish Council approval.
Thank you, Ms. Stein. File number 2022-0325 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening. Shane McCulley, 808 South Fashion Boulevard in Hornville. It's my property. Like I explained to the Planning and Zoning Commission when they approved this waiver, this is basically for my parents. It was started off as my garage, and it's when you look down my driveway, it looks like a garage. You can't tell it's a living residence. And the reason why it's taking up so much space is because if I'd have done it the way the Planning and Zoning wanted it, then I'd have dead space in my garage that I wouldn't be able to use. So what we did is made the whole side a living space, but part of that is just storage. It's not bedrooms, there's no closets, but the access is going through the living space to get to it. And that's one of their concerns. And the other concern was because it had a kitchen. Well, the commission thought that was ludicrous because it had a kitchen in it. I'm doing this for my parents. My dad's retired from the parish. He's a disabled veteran. It's hard times right now. It's easier for me to support them than trying to put them in a home. As they get older, Julia, I see the face. So, I mean, it's just for me to give back to them what they gave to me and what they did for this parish. My dad worked here for 25 years with the parish. He served twice. I served. My son serves. It's just giving back to the community. And helping them out. My value of my home is going to increase by a lot with building this and along with everybody else's houses in that subdivision. I mean, these is not cheap residents back there. I mean, as y'all are aware. I mean, I spent over $500,000 on my house. And this is just going to increase the property value. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love for y'all to approve it. I'm sure my parents would love for y'all to approve it. That's all I got. If y'all got any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Mr. McCauley. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Does anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public comment is closed. Ms. Cormier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for Marnie. the footprint of the garage is already existing. So this, although it's over the allowable size for an accessory unit, it's not being built from scratch, correct? It's already there in the way of the slab.
Right.
Or whatever the
think even the
foundation is,
structure is
right?
there,
The
yeah.
foundation and the structure is already there. So there's no drainage issue, there's no, okay. Just wanted to make sure it's not, but they were looking to expand what was there. They were just going to build inside of what was already there. Okay.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Morning, is this upstairs? This unit, is it going to be an upstairs unit?
Yes, the dwelling is upstairs.
Okay.
So, when I built my house, I built the pad while I was had the money to do it, and it's 50 by 50, and that's how the garage is going to be. Well, when we discussed moving my parents in there, I gave them 20 foot of the 50 foot, so it's 20 by 50 for them, and I got 30 of the 50. So you got a bottom floor and then a second story, and that's why we did it that way. Is because if not, I'd have ended up with dead space that I would not be able to use or get access to. So I gave them the whole 20 foot by 50 foot, and it ended up being a little bigger than what they wanted, but I mean, who wants to be crammed in a little tiny home?
Okay.
Any further council discussion? Okay, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0325. And that motion passes unanimously. Okay. Appointments. 2022-0316, a resolution appointing a member to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board. The council chairman will accept nominations to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Board to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Barbara M. Fuselier in accordance with the Louisiana Revised Statute 28-913-4. The board shall be comprised of 9 members, 1 resident from the parish of St. Charles to be appointed by the parish council, a 3-year term to begin January 1st, 2023 and expire January 1st, 2026. Nominations, Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to nominate Ms. Barbara Fuselier.
All right, we have Ms. Barbara Fuselier as a nominee. Seeing any more, I need a motion and a second to close nominations, please. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, a second by Ms. Comier. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0317, a resolution appointing a member to the Regional Planning Commission. Council Chairman will accept nominations to the Regional Planning Commission to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Tommy Fauché in accordance with ordinance number 16-12-4. The board should be comprised of 5 members, the parish president, 2 members of the St. Charles Parish Council, term concurrent with the governing authority, and 1 member who must not otherwise hold elected or appointed office in the parish of St. Charles to be appointed by the parish council and approved by the parish president. A 5-year term to begin January 8th, 2023, and to expire January 8th, 2028. Nominations, Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to nominate Mr. Garrett Monty.
All right, we have Mr. Garrett Monte as a nominee. Seeing no more, a motion and a second is needed to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Cluley, second by Ms. Fonseca. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0318, a resolution appointing a member to the Regional Planning Commission. The council chairman will accept nominations to the Regional Planning Commission to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Pastor Thomas Hines in accordance with ordinance number 16-12-4. The board shall be comprised of 5 members, the parish president, 2 members of the St. Charles Parish Council term concurrent with the governing authority, and 1 member who must not otherwise hold elected or appointed office in the parish of St. Charles, to be appointed by the parish council and approved by the parish president. 5-year term to begin January 8, 2023, and expire January 8, 2028. Nominations, Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to nominate Pastor Thomas Hines.
All righty. Pastor Thomas Hines. Motion and a second is needed to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Cormier, second by Ms. Billings to close nominations. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. Just an announcement, 2022-0328. Council ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. On Monday, December 5th, the council chairman will accept nominations to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Councilwoman Marilyn B. Bellock, council ex officio appointment. 1-year term to begin January 14, 2023, and expire January 8, 2024. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meeting, Housing Authority, Tuesday, November 29th, 2022, 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Hospital Service District 1, Wednesday, November 30th, 2022, 2 p.m. council chambers. Planning and Zoning Commission, Thursday, December 1st, 2022, 6 p.m. in the council chambers. The St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, December 5th, 2022, 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Announcements. Parish holiday, Thursday, November 24th, and Friday, November 25th for the Thanksgiving. The Norco Christmas Parade will be held Sunday, December 4th, 2022, 1 p.m. in the streets of Norco. Important dates for the December 10th, 2022 election. Tuesday, December 6th, 2022 will be the last day to request absentee mail ballots. Early voting, Saturday, November 26th, and Monday, November 28th to Saturday, December 3rd at the Register of Voters Office, 8:30 to 6 p.m., the West Bank Courthouse, and 15045 River Road, Honville, East Bank. East Bank will be the Auberry Building, 14564 River Road in New Sarpy. Friday, December 9th, 2022 will be the last day for register to receive the voted absentee ballot, and Saturday, December 10th, 2022 is Election Day. The polls will open at 7 and close at 8 p.m. Special matters to be considered by the council. 2022-0329. Review the 2023 Parish Council meeting schedule, and we will adopt it at December 5th, 2022 meeting. All right, 2022-0330. We'll accept nominations for the presiding officer for the 2023 Chairman, St. Charles Parish Council, and we will confirm on December 5th, 2022. Nominations. Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to nominate Julia Cormier as parish president. I'm parish president. Sorry about that.
I would respectfully decline
Accepted.
that one.
When's the election?
Second.
Wow.
All in favor?
All in favor?
I need a motion and a second, please. No, I'd like to nominate Ms. Cormier as St. Charles Parish Chairman for the next term.
All righty. Ms. Bellock.
I have a nomination.
We still want to talk. Okay. Do you have a nomination? Okay, no, Ms. Bellock. No. We had people on to speak. I don't. According to the rules, as long as we have somebody on there to speak, we have to let them speak. So, motion fails. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilwoman Billings has not previously served as chairman and would like to gain the experience, so I nominate Councilwoman Beth Billings.
Okay, so I have Ms. Julia Comier and Ms. Beth Billings as our nominees. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Belloc and second by Ms. Gordon to close nominations. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0331, accept nominations, presiding officer for 2023, Vice Chairman, St. Charles Parish Council, confirmed December 5th. Ms. Comier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to nominate Councilman Dick Gibbs for Vice Chairman, and I'd also like to make a motion to close nominations. Oh, got one. I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion. Okay. So I have a motion by Ms. Belloc and second by Ms. Comier to close nominations. Dick Gibbs will be the nominee. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. Okay, I need a motion and a second to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, second by Mr. Gibbs. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that motion passes unanimously. On behalf of the Parish Council, we hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Have a great evening. We're officially adjourned.
emergencies happen, we want you to be the first to know.
But if we can't reach you, we can't alert you.
That's why we need you to register for our new emergency alert system, SCP Alerts.
Signing up is easy.
So text SCP Alerts to 888-777 to get our messages.
From weather-related updates and emergencies
to evacuations and more.
Sign up for SCP Alerts.
Because our first priority is keeping you safe.
In a natural disaster, severe weather, or local emergency, we want you to know what to do.
Through SCP Alerts, we can help you be prepared and stay safe.
Text SCP Alerts to 888-777.
When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Sign up for SCP Alerts today.
For decades, our history attracted millions of visitors to our region. We're ready to welcome millions more. It's time we represent ourselves with a name that reflects the unique experiences visitors enjoy out here in the river parishes of Louisiana. Taste the culinary battle of Creole versus Cajun in every bite. Bask in the glow of blazing bonfires on the levee. Feel the thrill of our lakes, bayous, and mighty river. Get up close and personal with our swamp's oldest inhabitants. Walk the halls of our region's wealthiest period and America's darkest chapter. Tap your feet to the rhythms of our past and honor the struggles endured by those who dared to rise up. Smell the burning cane from our sugar fields and the alluring aroma of andouille from our smokehouses. We offer all this and so much more. What do you call a destination this diverse? Its name. Welcome to Louisiana's River Parishes.